The River Beneath the Stars. Chapter 1, A Path of Gentle Ripples. I always wondered where the river began. Ever since I can remember, I've walked its edge, feeling the cool mist drift across my face, tracing the water's shape with my eyes as it slipped over smooth stones and around mossy bends. The river has never once rushed. It drifts, unhurried, just like the way I learned to walk beside it. Slow steps, soft thoughts, each breath drawn long and quiet. When I was younger, I'd press my ear to its surface, listening for secrets beneath the flow. Sometimes I'd think I heard them, murmurs and sighs that felt like my own voice answered from a place deeper than the water could show me. I would lie on my back at the edge and stare up at the drifting night, the stars sprinkling their light like seeds onto the current. I thought, perhaps, they fed the river's glow. My feet know this path better than they know any other. The soft grass bends under each step, the stones remember the shape of my soles. The world here is folded gently, as if the wind itself took care to keep it safe. Trees lean over the river, offering petals and leaves that swirl on the surface like little drifting lanterns. I watch them float away, never sinking, never fighting the gentle pull. I do not know how long I have walked. Here, time is a distant hum. I have tried to catch it in my hands, but it slips like water through my fingers. Some nights I stand still for so long I forget I was ever moving. The river keeps its pace, and so do I. When the moon climbs high enough, its reflection becomes a road I feel I might step onto, one foot into silver, the other still on moss. I hum to myself as I walk. A tune I do not remember learning. It bubbles up like a spring beneath my ribs, simple and soft. The river seems to hum with me, matching my notes with its own quiet echoes. I think perhaps it hums first and I am only remembering the sound. Tonight, the stars are awake and leaning close. They flicker like tiny hearths, warming the space above the water. I think they are listening, too. To the river, to my hum, to the small sigh of the world that happens only here, where the banks hold secrets and the trees whisper them to the water. There is a bend ahead where the river opens into a wide, still pool. I reach it before I know I've arrived, my feet carrying me as they always do. The pool is clear, reflecting the sky so perfectly I wonder which way is up. I crouch beside it, dipping my fingers in. Ripples expand in rings that touch the banks and return to me, soft reminders that every touch leaves something behind. I whisper into the water, words with no shape. They sink like seeds into the reflection, lost but not gone. I like to think they grow roots beneath the ripples, weaving stories in the riverbed. Maybe someday they'll bloom as new currents, carrying my voice farther than I can walk. I stand and watch the surface settle. The stars reappear in the pool, as if they forgive my disturbance. I take a breath, deeper this time, letting the cool night air spread through me like a quiet tide. I feel lighter, almost drifting myself. I step away from the pool and follow the river's curve. It leads me into a grove where the trees arch so high their branches seem to touch the sky's edge. Between the trunks, moonlight weaves silver paths on the ground. I move slowly, my feet brushing fallen petals, my fingers grazing the bark, rough and warm from the day's hidden sun. I pause at a tree that leans far out over the water. Its roots clutch the bank like gentle hands. I rest against its trunk, feeling the steady heartbeat of wood beneath my palm. I think the tree remembers every footstep I've taken here, every word I've whispered into the river. I close my eyes and listen. I do not hear the tree speak, but its silence is full and soft, carrying more meaning than any voice I've known. My breath slows. The river hums. The stars watch. I stand there for a time that cannot be measured. When I open my eyes again, the river has widened. The banks have drifted apart, leaving room for something new, an island of stone, covered in moss and tiny flowers that nod in the night breeze. I step onto the stone. My foot sinks slightly into the moss, cool and forgiving. I walk across the small island, feeling the world shift under my weight in the gentlest way. At the far side, the river picks up again, winding away into shadows and stars. I smile, though no one is here to see. I have walked this river so many times, yet each bend brings me somewhere I've never been. That is how the river keeps me close, showing me what I have forgotten to imagine. It reminds me that drifting is not the same as being lost. I sit on the mossy stone and watch the water move. Slower still, until it feels as if it might stop altogether. But it doesn't. It waits. Like me. I lean back, my hands behind me, my eyes on the stars. They flicker and gather and drift, just like the river beneath me. I think, maybe, they are pieces of the river that found their way above. I do not wish to move. The air is cool and carries the scent of distant blossoms. I close my eyes, just for a moment, and the hum of the river fills me once more. I feel the pull of the current, gentle as breath, guiding me onward, even as I stay still. Here, at the start of this quiet journey, I find that every ripple carries me somewhere softer than before. And so I listen, and wait, and drift, like the river, like the stars, like a thought that forgets to end. Chapter 2, Lanterns Among the Branches. The stone beneath me stays warm long after I rise from it. I leave behind a shallow impression in the moss, as if the island wishes to hold a piece of me while I move on. The river's hum lifts around me when I step back into the gentle flow of grass along the bank. My feet sink slightly into the earth, soft and damp with secrets it refuses to tell all at once. I find my pace again, unhurried, almost weightless. Each step feels like an echo of the last, yet new in its own way, as though I'm unfolding the world one footprint at a time. Overhead, the trees bend closer, their branches threading together into a canopy stitched with slivers of moonlight. I pause to watch the way leaves catch that light, turning each edge into a small, wavering lantern. Somewhere high above, a breeze passes through, rustling the branches so gently it sounds like distant voices sharing stories they've never told me before. I reach up, fingers brushing the lowest branch, the bark rough against my skin, grounding me even as the hush of leaves invites me to drift away. In the hush, I find a clearing. The river widens here, then splits into smaller threads that braid through a grove of slender trees. Lanterns hang from the branches, not ones made by hands, but by the trees themselves. Blossoms glow pale gold, each one a soft flame swaying in the night air. They do not burn, only shine, tiny suns that never rise, never set. I step closer. My reflection follows me in the quiet pools between the roots. It looks softer than I remember, as if the lanterns lend me some of their gentle glow. I crouch and let my fingers hover just above the surface. My reflection wavers, then settles, and I see the river's path winding away through the trees and beyond, always waiting. Above me, one lantern blossom loosens from its branch and drifts down. It spins slowly, petal by petal, catching the starlight until it lands beside my foot. I pick it up, careful not to crush its light. In my hand, it feels lighter than breath, yet it glows steady, pulsing in time with something deep inside me. I tuck the blossom behind my ear, feeling it nestle there like a whispered promise. The branches above sigh in the wind, as if approving this small ceremony. I stand again, and my path feels brighter, lanterns above, lantern at my temple, river ahead, all carrying the same quiet promise, onward, gently. I step through the grove, my footsteps silent on the damp earth. Where the trees thin, I find a fallen trunk bridging a narrow stream that branches off from the main river. The trunk is wide enough for my feet, soft with moss and old bark. I pause at its edge, feeling the hush of water slipping beneath it. Then, with arms outstretched for balance, I cross. Each step over the trunk feels like walking across a thought, fragile yet certain. Below, tiny fish flicker in the shallows, shadows darting like sparks of a forgotten dream. When I reach the far side, the grove gives way to a meadow so open I feel the sky settle closer to my shoulders. The river threads through the meadow in silver ribbons, looping lazily among wildflowers that nod under the touch of the night breeze. I kneel to watch them sway, petals of white and blue and pale gold, small echoes of the lantern blossoms behind me. Fireflies drift between the blooms, tiny companions carrying their own quiet lights. I reach out my hand, and one lands on my finger. Its glow warms my skin for a heartbeat before it lifts away, joining its drifting kin. I watch them float above the flowers, a constellation come down to rest among the grass. I lie back in the soft tangle of petals, eyes tracing the patterns they make, stars above, fireflies below, the river's mirror running through them all. My breath comes slow here, deeper, carrying the scent of wild mint and earth and something sweet I can't name. Time again forgets itself. I stay there until the moon shifts high enough to pour silver onto my face, wrapping me in light soft as silk. I feel the weight of my body melt into the meadow, as if the earth is teaching me how to belong to it without needing to stay in one place. When I sit up again, the fireflies have gathered into slow-moving spirals that drift toward the river's edge. They lead me back to my feet, back to the winding path where water waits to hum my steps forward. I follow without thinking, there is no need for thought here, only drift, only trust. The path narrows again, trees returning to lean over the water, branches heavy with blossoms and lanterns that swing gently as I pass beneath. One brush of a leaf against my cheek and I feel as if the whole forest knows my name, though no one ever speaks it aloud. Ahead, the river deepens, its surface dark as ink yet shining with stars drawn into its depths. I stand at its edge, letting my toes touch the cool lap of water. The lantern behind my ear flickers softly, matching the hum beneath the current. I listen. Somewhere within the river's song, I hear a promise, a gentle vow that this path, however winding, always brings me closer to something softer, something kinder than any place I have known before. I close my eyes and stand still. The branches above cradle their blossoms, the fireflies drift between them like tiny floating wishes. The river waits, patient and unhurried. And I, too, wait, lantern on my temple, stars above, roots below, my breath moving like the current, steady, slow, and certain. Chapter 3, The Meadow of Whispering Stones. When I open my eyes again, the lantern blossom behind my ear has dimmed to a soft glow, just enough to remind me it is still there, a quiet companion. I press my fingers to it gently, feeling the faint warmth it holds, then let my hand fall to my side. The river waits before me, wide and calm, mirroring the sky with such precision that I wonder if I am standing between two worlds, one above and one below, each holding the other like a breath that never leaves the body. I step away from the water's edge and follow a narrow path that curves along the bank. The grass here is short and springy beneath my feet, dotted with tiny blossoms that look like pieces of the night sky fallen to earth. Each step sends a soft rustle into the stillness, but the river hums louder, its quiet voice wrapping around me like a shawl. Before long, the trees begin to thin, their trunks growing farther apart until they give way to a wide meadow that stretches out like a blanket of silver and green. The river slips through it in slow, winding curves, carrying the starlight deeper into the land. I stand at the meadow's edge for a while, watching fireflies drift in lazy circles above the grasses, tiny beacons that flicker in time with the hush of the breeze. I step forward, and the ground changes beneath me. Small stones appear among the grass, smooth, pale shapes that press gently into my soles as I walk. Each one is different. Some are round and cool, others warm from the day's memory of sun. I pause and kneel beside one, tracing its surface with my fingertips. It hums faintly beneath my touch, a soft vibration that feels like a secret waiting to be told. I press my ear close. The stone whispers in a voice so soft I cannot catch its words, only the feeling they carry, calm, unhurried, a promise that I am not alone. I place my palm flat against it, and the hum deepens, spreading up my arm like a ripple through water. I smile without meaning to, feeling something inside me loosen, as if a knot has gently come undone. I stand again and keep walking. The stones grow more numerous as I move deeper into the meadow, scattered in patterns that seem random but feel deliberate, like constellations laid upon the earth. Some are gathered in small circles, others line the path in meandering trails that draw me forward without force. As I walk, the hush of the river follows me, weaving through the whisper of the stones and the sigh of the grasses. The air here tastes sweeter, carrying the faint scent of moss and wild mint and something softer, like rain that has not yet fallen. I breathe it in slowly, letting it settle deep within my chest. Ahead, the path widens into a small clearing where the stones gather in a loose spiral. At its center sits a large, flat rock, smooth and pale as the moon above. I step into the spiral, feeling each stone underfoot hum a greeting as I pass. The air grows still here, thick with the quiet pulse of the earth beneath. I sit upon the central stone, folding my legs beneath me, my hands resting gently on my knees. I close my eyes and listen. The hum rises around me, a chorus of soft voices blending with the river's song in the distance. Each whisper weaves into the next until they form a single note that seems to echo through my bones. I do not try to understand the words, they are not for understanding but for feeling. They drift through me like water through open fingers, leaving behind a sense of something larger than myself, a promise that the world holds me even as I drift through it. I stay there for a long time, letting the whispers settle into the quiet spaces inside me. My breath slows to match the hum, each inhale and exhale a ripple upon the surface of a still pool. I feel my heartbeat soften, steady as the river's current, unhurried and sure. When I open my eyes again, the stones around me glow faintly, pale lights that pulse in time with the whispers. The meadow is a field of stars now, above and below, each stone a lantern guiding me deeper into this gentle drift. I stand slowly, careful not to break the hush that holds the air so tenderly. I step from the spiral and follow a trail of glowing stones that lead away from the clearing. The river reappears beside me, its surface catching the stonelight and the starlight, weaving them together into a path that feels like a dream I have always known. As I walk, I pass under low branches that reach out to brush my shoulders, soft reminders that I am part of this place, not merely passing through. The lantern blossom behind my ear flickers back to life, its glow matching the stones at my feet. I pause at the river's edge once more, crouching to let my fingers skim the surface. The water is cool, slipping through my touch like silk. I whisper nothing into it, words without shape that sink into the current and drift away to join the hum that carries me forward. I stand again and follow the trail deeper into the meadow. The stones guide me without sound, each step softer than the last. The river's voice grows quieter, not fading but folding itself into the hush of the stones, the whisper of the grass, the slow beat of my heart. Here, in this meadow of whispering stones, I learn again how to listen, not with ears alone but with every part of myself that knows how to wait, how to drift, how to trust the gentle pull of something softer than thought. And so I walk on, carried by whispers and stones and the hum of a river that remembers my name even when I forget to speak it. Chapter 4: The Bridge of Gentle Echoes. The stones behind me fade into the hush of the meadow as I follow the river's slow bend into a place where the trees lean closer once again. Their branches arch overhead like the ribs of a vast, living cathedral, each leaf catching a sliver of moonlight and letting it fall in silver threads onto my path. The lantern blossom at my ear glows steady now, its light a soft companion to the drifting shine above. I paused to rest my hand against a tree's wide trunk. The bark is rough but warm, holding the memory of sun beneath its surface. I press my palm to it, feeling a slow thrum deep inside, like a distant echo of my own heart. The tree stands patient and quiet, its roots curling down into the soil, reaching for secrets I will never need to know but somehow feel all the same. I step on, my foot falls soft on the mossy ground. The river's hum rises and falls beside me, weaving in and out of the gentle rustle of the leaves. I can feel it in my ribs now, a hush that settles behind my eyes and loosens the last bits of thought that cling there. Each step I take feels lighter than the one before, as if the earth itself has decided to carry me. Soon the trees part again, revealing a clearing where the river widens into a broad, glassy pool. Its surface holds the stars so perfectly that when I look down, I see the sky mirrored at my feet, countless pinpricks of light drifting in a current of quiet. In the center of the pool stands a bridge, pale and slender, arcing over the water like a ribbon of moonlight tied between the banks. I stand at the edge for a while, listening. The bridge hums too, its song a gentle echo of the river's voice. It calls without calling, waiting without waiting. I step forward. The wood beneath my feet is smooth and cool, each plank fitted so well that not even the river's breath slips through the seams. Halfway across, I stop. Below me, the pool drifts in slow circles, carrying the stars with it. The lantern blossom behind my ear glows a little brighter, catching the reflections and sending them dancing across the bridge's pale rails. I rest my hands on the rail and lean over, my breath making tiny ripples that scatter the stars before gathering them again. I close my eyes and listen. The bridge hums softly, a voice within the voice of the river, deeper and slower, like a memory being remembered for the first time. The hum settles into my bones, into the spaces behind my ribs where thought quiets and drifting begins. I open my eyes again and watch the water pass beneath me. It carries petals and fallen leaves and tiny slivers of bark that spin lazily in the current. Everything here moves without hurry, as if time itself is a guest, drifting too. I feel my own breath match the flow, steady in, steady out, no edge to its coming or going. I step forward again. Each footfall on the bridge feels softer than the last, as though the wood knows how to carry my weight without asking for anything in return. The far end of the bridge opens onto a narrow path lined with low lanterns, tiny flames cradled in glass shells, flickering in time with the river's hum. I follow the lanterns. Their light spills across the path in warm pools that fade into the darkness between each step. My shadow drifts ahead of me, long and soft, never quite touching the ground. The air here tastes faintly of something sweet, like honey warmed by the sun and hidden in the night's cool hush. I pause beside one of the lanterns and kneel to look inside. The flame within dances, a single bright thought that never flickers out. I cup my hands around the glass, feeling its warmth seep into my palms. For a moment, I wonder who placed these lights here, who tended to them, who made sure they would wait for me when I arrived. But the thought slips away, gentle as the river's flow. I stand again and drift onward. The lanterns guide me through a small grove where the trees are thin and pale, their bark smooth as bone, their leaves whispering like silk. The path curves gently through them, always returning to the river's edge where the water keeps its quiet promise to never rush, never force, only carry. I come to a place where the lanterns gather in a small circle beside the river. In the center stands a low bench carved from pale wood, its surface polished smooth by countless resting moments. I sit and feel the hush settle around me like a blanket pulled up to my shoulders. The river's voice is softer here, more like breath than song, an echo that repeats only what I already know: drift, drift, drift. I lean back against the bench's curve, eyes half closed as I watch the lanterns sway in the faint breeze. Their flames bob gently, casting shadows that move like tiny dancers across the grass. The lantern blossom at my ear flickers once more, its glow weaving with the lantern's light until I feel wrapped in a cocoon of soft warmth and hush. I stay there, listening. No voice calls my name, but the river's hum reminds me I am heard all the same. I think of the bridge behind me, of the meadow of whispering stones, of the lantern blossom that found its way to my ear. Each is a step, each a drift, each a promise that this path will carry me onward, softer and softer, until even my thoughts slip free and float away like petals on the water. The bench creaks gently beneath me, a sound so soft it feels like another hum added to the river's choir. I rest my head against its back, my eyes tracing the lanterns as they sway, slow and sure. Beyond them, the stars lean closer, bright and kind, their reflections drifting in the river's quiet arms. Here, on this bridge of gentle echoes, I do not wish for anything but this: the hush, the drift, the lantern's glow, the river's hum carrying me forward, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. Chapter 5, Garden Beneath the Moon. When I rise from the bench, the hush follows me. The lanterns flicker behind my steps, sending small ripples of light across the path as I drift deeper into the night's gentle arms. The river stays close, never losing its patient voice. I can feel it in my pulse now, a soft rhythm that carries my feet without needing to guide them. The trees ahead lean away, their branches pulling back to reveal a space that feels like it has waited for me longer than I can remember. The path widens and softens under my soles, giving way to moss so thick and cool that it muffles each step until my footsteps disappear entirely. I step through a narrow arch of pale branches and find myself standing at the edge of a garden. It is not marked by fences or walls, only by the hush, the way the air feels sweeter here, touched by moonlight that falls like silk over everything it touches. Flowers bloom in quiet clusters, white, blue, and pale gold, each petal catching the moon's glow and folding it gently into its heart. A small stone path winds through the blossoms. I follow it, letting my fingers brush the tops of the flowers as I pass. They bend slightly under my touch, not in surrender but in welcome, as if they have been waiting to share their soft secrets with my palms. Each bloom hums faintly when I lean close, a tiny echo of the river's song hidden in their petals. In the garden's center stands a low fountain carved from pale stone. Water slips from its edge in thin, clear streams that fall into a shallow pool, their quiet splash weaving into the hush like another note in a melody I have known since before I knew how to listen. I kneel beside the fountain, dipping my fingers into the water. It is cool and soft, sliding over my skin and carrying away the last fragments of thought I still hold. I watch the ripples spread across the pool's surface, catching moonlight and lantern glow in gentle circles that drift outward and vanish into the hush. Around the fountain, stones are set in a circle, their surfaces smooth and warm beneath my palms when I rest them there. Each stone hums when touched, their voices softer here than in the meadow, as if they have learned to whisper rather than speak. I lean close, listening. The hum carries no words, yet I understand. You are here, you are held, drift on. I sit back on my heels and let my gaze wander. The garden breathes around me, petals trembling in the soft wind, leaves shifting with the river's sigh. Somewhere above, the moon drifts higher, silver and watchful, casting its kindness over every branch and bloom. I stand again and step from the fountain's circle, following a line of blossoms that leads toward the garden's far edge. There, the river curls around a gentle bend, carrying with it fallen petals that ride the current like tiny boats on a sea of silver. I kneel at the bank and touch the water. It slips through my fingers, carrying warmth from the garden and coolness from the night, a balance that reminds me of breath, in, out, drift. I watch the petals float past, spinning slowly, never sinking, never caught. I rise and wander deeper into the garden. Small lanterns hang from slender poles set among the flowers, their light mixing with the moon's, weaving together shadows that dance at my feet. The lantern blossom behind my ear glows softly, matching their warmth. I press my fingers to it again, feeling its tiny heartbeat in the hush. I find a stone bench beneath a flowering tree whose branches spread wide and low, heavy with blossoms that brush my shoulders when I sit. I lean back against the trunk, the bark cool and steady. Overhead, the branches cradle the moonlight, letting it filter down in slow, shifting patterns that drift across my face like a caress. I close my eyes and breathe in the scent of the garden, sweet and green, touched with the faint spice of unseen herbs that grow somewhere close. The hum of the river drifts in and out of my hearing, mingling with the soft rustle of leaves and the quiet sigh of petals falling to the moss below. Here, time forgets me entirely. I feel it slip away like water from open hands, leaving only the hush behind. I think of all the places I have drifted through tonight, meadow, bridge, stones, lanterns, and know that each has folded itself inside this moment, carrying me softly to where I sit now, cradled beneath the flowering tree. I feel the earth's pulse through the bench, through the trunk at my back, through the soles of my feet resting on the moss. It moves in time with my breath, slow and sure, a lullaby without words. When I open my eyes again, a single blossom has fallen into my lap. Its petals glow faintly, warm and pale. I lift it in my palm, watching it tremble in the soft breeze. I whisper nothing to it, letting my breath carry it back to the garden's hush. I close my eyes once more, letting the drift carry me deeper, the river's hum wrapping around my thoughts until they dissolve like mist at dawn. I feel the hush settle in my chest, gentle and certain. Here, in the garden beneath the moon, I am only this breath, hum, drift, held in a place where the river's promise is enough to carry me wherever I need to go, softly, slowly, endlessly onward. Chapter 6, Drift into Dawn. I rise from the stone bench beneath the flowering tree, moving so gently that the blossoms above barely notice my leaving. The hush of the garden lingers on my shoulders, draping me in warmth even as the air grows lighter around me. Somewhere beyond the trees, a faint glow begins to gather, so soft it could almost be another lantern left waiting for me in the dark. I step back onto the mossy path, each footfall wrapped in the quiet sigh of petals. The river hums beside me, patient and low, weaving its promise through the hush like a thread tying all my drifting moments together. I follow its curve as it slips away from the garden, winding toward the edge of the trees where the sky begins to brighten. The lantern blossom at my ear flickers once more, as if to remind me it is still here, still glowing with all the soft secrets it gathered along the way. I touch it gently, feeling the warmth against my skin. I wonder if it will stay when the sun returns, if its light will fade like the stars above or linger as a memory I can carry in my breath. The path narrows again, threading through slender trunks that reach upward, their branches arching to cradle the last pieces of the night. The river runs quieter here, folding itself around smooth stones that hum beneath its surface. I pause to kneel at the bank, dipping my fingers into the cool current one final time. The water slips through me like a thought too soft to hold, leaving behind only the hush. I stand and drift onward. The trees part at last, giving way to a wide, open space where the sky stretches low and close. The faint light at the horizon spills across the river's surface, turning it into a road of silver and rose. I stand at its edge for a moment, listening to the hush settle deeper inside my chest. The stars above begin to fade, their reflections drifting apart like petals on the current. I follow the river to a place where the ground rises gently, a small hill clothed in soft grass and wildflowers. Each step carries me higher, yet lighter, as if the earth lifts me instead of weighing me down. At the top, I stand beneath the paling sky, the river curling at the hill's foot like a ribbon tying the land to the dawn. I sit among the flowers, folding my legs beneath me, my hands resting open on my knees. The hush here is different, thinner, softer, threaded with the first quiet breaths of morning. I close my eyes and listen to the way the river hums beneath this new light, how it blends with the faint stir of wings and the slow sigh of petals waking to the sun. I feel the lantern blossom shift against my ear. I lift it gently, cradling it in my palm. Its glow is faint now, a warm ember that flickers with the last notes of the night's song. I press it to my lips, then set it among the flowers at my side. There, it rests, a tiny promise folded into the hush that will carry it forward long after I stand again. Above me, the sky brightens by degrees. Pale rose, soft gold, the gentle blush of day unwrapping the night's quiet arms. I breathe it in, each inhale carrying the river's hum deeper into the spaces behind my ribs, each exhale drifting away like mist that knows how to let go. I lie back among the flowers, the grass cool beneath me, the scent of blossoms drifting around my shoulders. My eyes trace the fading stars, each one blinking out softly, no hurry, no end, just drift. The river's voice threads through it all, a hum that has carried me from the first whisper of dusk to this unfolding dawn. In this gentle moment, I feel no need to rise, no need to follow any path but the one that breathes within me now, steady and sure as the river's current, soft as the petals that drift beside me. I let my thoughts slip free, untied from shape or sound, carried away by the hush that hums where the world folds into itself. The dawn brightens. The river moves. The petals drift. And I, too, drift, held by the garden, the stones, the lanterns, the bridge, the hush. Held by all the small, soft promises that this night has given me, that to drift is to arrive, that to listen is to belong, that to hush is to remember the quiet parts of myself I almost forgot. I close my eyes as the sun's first warmth brushes my skin. Somewhere beyond the hill, the river keeps moving, carrying its secrets beneath the rising light. I feel its hum settle in my chest, a gentle reminder that I am part of its drifting song. And so I stay, unmoving, unhurried, quiet as the dawn, drifting onward in the hush beneath the new day's unfolding sky.